So what I'm saying to you is there can be all sorts of uh, negative things in your medical records, or there can be people throwing you under the bus. Your family doctor may be throwing you under the bus, and you don't understand that. Your family doctor may be paving the way into these specialists' office, saying to these specialists that there's nothing wrong with you. But these specialists are taking the appointments anyways to get paid for it. There was another, obviously my family doctor was doing this over and over again because he said to me, why do you think you always are seeing the bad, quote unquote, specialists? Why do you think you're getting all these bad doctors? If your family doctor is throwing you under the bus in the referral letters, it's going to continue. I remember, the not sleeping, the severe sleep issues. Every doctor and every specialist, when they've never seen you before, should have an open mind when they're coming through the door. But when someone is misleading them in records, you're kind of screwed before you get there. If these, I've made different analogies in the past about this, like, you can poison people and brainwash them. You can poison people and brainwash someone against someone else before they've even met each other, right? And it's super easy to do that, right? I remember another doctor, my family doctor, sent me to for a second opinion because I wasn't sleeping and stuff. They were all misdiagnosing me. I wish I could. Her office closed down. She's close by. Oh, I wish I could go there and get this is my previous family doctor. I wish I could go to that office and get a copy of the referral letter, because I bet you $1 million that he was throwing me under the bus. There's no question about it. I walk into this appointment and she's treating me like a little child, and actually, kind of actually just like this, right? Like on my leg, like, it's going to be okay. I have faith in you. You're going to figure out what's wrong. Talking to me like I'm a little child. And I'm sitting here thinking, whoa, something is so wrong here. I was so critically sleep deprived, I couldn't drive anymore. But yet, when something is wrong, and when there's something messed up happening. 100%. My former family doctor was throwing me under the bus with derogatory comments before I would see these other doctors. And a patient has no clue, because your family doctor is sweet talking you. A patient has no way of knowing this. You may be asking for copies of reports after you see people, but hardly ever you're asking for the actual referral letters. So start asking. If you're being misdiagnosed, ask for the referral letters, because I've seen the derogatory comments. They were all misdiagnosing my sleep issue. The issue with my gut, lifting up my shirt and showing that guy, that issue is still here. I can prove it to you that they deliberately turned me away. My family doctor did that. I don't know why he would want to do that. Why would you want to? Oh, I've run into him in public before. I would love to run into him again. Why would you want to be doing that? Why would you want to be doing that to a patient? I guess. Okay, so the gut, the issue on the belly, the problem, the internal issue that you could actually see from the inside, from the outside. Why would you want to be telling specialists that there's nothing wrong with your patient when there is? Why would you want to be doing that? And now with the sleep issue, and the reason why he would be doing that is because he really didn't believe anything was wrong, and he was wrong. I can prove that he was wrong. So there's different reasons why they may be negatively influencing specialists before you even get there. And the whole idea is there's no reason for you as a doctor, or you as a person on social media watching posts like this, there's no reason at all for you to think that a patient might be wrong. There's lots of reasons there's lots of poor reasons you might think that. But like the presentation, if a person's angry, if a person's has medical PTSD, if a person's exhausted, if a person's mentally ill, if a person's on a bunch of drugs that's impairing their behavior, that's altering their normal behavior, if they present themselves and they're loud and angry and they're not likable, that's no reason to disbelieve what a patient thinks might be happening to their health. And that whole entire video that I talked about in the last video, this doctor being kind and nice and stuff, none of that kindness and niceness and none of that matters when you're being misdiagnosed. None of it matters. But everybody puts way too much importance on that. And patients, I want to say this, but it's counterproductive. Patients who are severely traumatized, and now as the years go by, and that's going to happen with this woman, because it has with me, as the years go by, with her medical PTSD and stuff, and she's getting dismissed and treated like this, her behavior is going to escalate. She's going to be more and more angry in the future. She didn't start out that way. She started out way back there, sweet and obedient and compliant and respectful. When you're mistreated for years and years, what you're seeing on that video is now way at the end of the road, when after she's been mistreated over and over and over again. And when doctors meet patients like that, not here, but way down the road, they're more and more likely to disrespect these patients in a kind, sweet manner. But you know what? It's not the patient who created this mess. Now you've got this sweet, compliant patient way down here, years down the road. Now she's a monster. Now I don't mean her specifically. I don't mean me specifically. I mean any of us. When you've been disrespected and misdiagnosed and mistreated and been told, oh, it's a mental health issue, when it's not, for years and years and years, now you've got someone who's, a monster way down the road here. Well, you know what? The patient never created that monster. Continual collective failure. Doctors continually, collectively failing patients like this created that monster. And they'll blame you when you're not to blame. When you're so distressed, so traumatized, so beaten down that you can't control your behavior anymore. Your trauma. When you can't. She's doing her best, but she can't. Do I mean she was yelling and screaming? No, she was trying to control, but it still comes off as boy, this is not a desirable patient. But it's not her fault. The medical community does this to people. And when you've gotten to that point, you're kind of, you're kind of screwed in a way. But the medical community does this to you. It pushes you to your breaking point. It makes you into somebody that you're not. It makes you into somebody that doctors don't even want to deal with anymore. And this doctor who's reposting this video is commending this ER doctor, being so calm and so respectful. None of that matters if this patient is being misdiagnosed again and unjustifiably dismissed and being told, oh, well, I see in your past records you've had health issues that aren't really there and blah, blah, blah. These are the patients who are going to eventually diagnose themselves through research, or they're going to, take their lives, or they're going to no longer go to for medical care when they're in crisis. But it's not the patients who do this. And the doctors can't fathom that they're doing this, and they can't see that they're doing this. Most of the doctors in my care who were misdiagnosing me don't even know how they failed me over and over and over again for years. How do you go about that? How do you go about notifying all these doctors in the community that, hey, you know what? I was right. You misdiagnosed me for years. I was literally tortured from misdiagnosis. And another thing, all the derogatory comments still remain in your records or my records. Nobody's going in there and saying and changing, adding, oh, you know what? She was right. You actually misdiagnosed her. She was right. Nobody's going in there to clean things up because they're in control of your records. You're not. So nobody's going in there to do damage control. When you're still seeing specialists in the future, now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they can look back and see all those derogatory comments, and they think that those derogatory negative comments are still valid about you.